Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode. Hope you're all having a great day. Today, we have a lot of racing on your way. We have the NASCAR Legend Series, we have the Truck Series, we have two Xfinity Series races, as well as Cup Series at Michigan International Speedways. We're closing in on the final four regular season races, so getting close to crunch time for that final push for some of these bubble drivers to make it into the playoffs. But first, we start things off here in the Legend Series at Jefferson Raceway, the dirt track that's on a road course. So a very different, unique track, of course, here in this NASCAR Legend Series. And as you guys know, road course racing definitely my biggest strength when it comes to just racing in general. So even if it's on dirt, which I'm not very good at, I was still confident that we could find something here, just find some speed that we've been kind of missing. There's Michael Cozy Jr. was actually off track here, only a 2-lap race because of how long this track is, so you don't have a whole lot of time to get stuff done compared to what we do at the normal oval dirt track. So it was definitely a lot of pressure here in these opening moments of this race, but we were kind of living up to it. We got up into P11, and then by the time we came through around the final turn to head to the final lap, we were up into P7, got up to P6, passing Kyle Larson, and then we got past, I believe that was Kyle Busch there for 5th place, and that was as far as we would get. We came through the final turn here, and it was going to be a 5th place finish as Jeff Gordon would win here from Jefferson now, so he is in the playoffs, and of course we are very close with the playoff situation, just like last season, and not many races remain here in the regular season for the NASCAR Legend Series, so hopefully we can make the playoffs, because I feel like if we can, we're going to be in good shape, because last season we won the first race of the playoffs. That was the only race we did win, but that was also the very race after we missed getting into the playoffs. So hopefully this season we can at least get to it and then hopefully win that first race again and set us up really nicely now as we come through into the Eldora Dirt Derby here, where we actually had a friend of mine this race that got chosen to be in the truck, and that was Edward Shearer. You guys might know him as King Outbreak. He's been featured on our public lobby races here on the channel with NASCAR Heat 5 in the past, and he streams on Twitch and whatnot. I might throw his Twitch into the description down below. I was not thinking, for some reason I put Shearer as his first name and Edward as the last name, but we're going to completely ignore that. But he would actually make a pass over Stuart Friesen, a dirt, of course, veteran, and he would take the lead, and that was it. As we came through to the final lap, through turns 3 and 4, it was going to be Eddie coming through to pick up another win on the season for Going Racing now, as our season continues to get better and better now here, as a win in Eldora, big statement for this Going Racing team, and sets us up nicely for the rest of this episode. At least I hope so now, as we look forward to the Xfinity Series, where, like I said, we have two Xfinity Series races coming your guys' way today here. Of course, Paul Menard behind the wheel getting ready to hopefully spice it up, get up there in the mix, and go for a potential race victory. We come back to Iowa for the second and final time this season, and last time we went to Iowa in the Xfinity Series, I put a whole new setup in the car for Paul, hoping that it would kind of turn his pace around. Well, the car was actually one of the worst he's ever driven at this track. He could not keep the car in a straight line to save his life. It was slipping and sliding all over the place. This time we put another new setup in the car, but it worked. He got up inside the top 10, made a 3-wide move here up the inside of Quinn Helf, actually put him all the way up the track, nearly into the wall, and got him sideways, but late in the race, he got passed by the 7 of Justin Allgaier, but still running top 10 was Paul Menard in these closing laps here in the US Cellular 250. This was now the final lap, coming through to cross the line for a 5th place finish, which I believe is the best finish this Going Racing team has ever had at Iowa in the Xfinity Series, as Brandon Brown picked up the victory. So a great way so far to start this episode. A strong run in the Legend Series, a win in trucks for Going Racing, and a 5th place finish in Iowa now as we jump through into Road America. Surprisingly, our Going Racing team here in the Xfinity Series has never won, I don't believe, at Road America. So we were hoping that Paul could turn that around today in the final attempt ever to make that happen. And he started really well. He was on row number 3 in 5th place here through turns 1. Goes a little bit wide right there now, but he's now going to have an opportunity to do that right there. Slide up the right hand side, make a 3-wide with 2 road course kings of Kevin Magnussen, Kimi Räikkönen, 2 former F1 drivers, and of course one of them being a Formula 1 world champion now, is now down the long straightaway. Paul made a 3-wide for the lead with Sheldon Creed and Josh Williams, and he would go to the front and never look back. We cut straight through to the final lap on the front straightaway, and it would be a win for Paul Menard in our final race at Road America. An unbelievable race right there for Paul, and continues to to bring him back into the mix for a potential regular season championship. Of course, at the end of the episode, we will show the point standings for all 4 series and give you guys an idea of what is going on now as it's crunch time in every series. Eldora, by the way, for the trucks, was the final race of the regular season. So starting in the next truck race, the playoffs are here for that series now as we come through into the Cup Series race. Though we have the Dr. Pepper paint scheme back on the car from Latian. Now it's been a little while since we've run this game, but I was like, before we end this career mode, I gotta make sure we get this thing in here. So as we go down into turns 1 on our qualifying attempt, it was a 38.919. The goal was here in Michigan. I was hopeful we could get close to that, but I made a mistake through turns 1 and 2 right there. And then by the time we came through to cross the line, we beat the goal. Oh no, we do not actually, about half a 10 slower, so it's P16 in the Firekeepers Casino 400 for our qualifying effort now, as we're going to get ready to take the green flag on the outside line as we look through the rest of the order on your screen. A lot of playoff bubble drivers right now that we got to pay attention to. We're about to go over that here in just a moment now as we look through up towards the top 10 on the grid. Derek Kraus rounds out the top 10, but up on the front row, it's Chase Elliott on pole with his teammate from McLaren of Sam Mayer. And Harrison Burton, Justin Haley, and Brandon Jones round out your top 5. All right, boys, going for it today. Let's hopefully we get a win out of it now. I mean, there's nothing else to go for, so let's go try and pull that off. There you heard myself on the radio. There you see the playoff leaderboard coming into this episode now. Kyle Busch, 1 point below the cut line. Chase Briscoe, 8 points below. Todd Gilliland in the front row. Mercedes gets closer and closer episode after episode. 45 below the cut line. Zane Smith and Cindric both over 60 points out. Alex Bowman, the last guy, in by 1 point. Christopher Bell for LeBron's Roush team, in by 42, but they're starting at the back. And then Brandon Jones in the AlphaTauri is in by 65 points here as we get ready to go green with 4 races left remaining in the regular season, as we did move up a spot due to the number 45 of Derek Kraus going to the back of the field. So we get underway here from P15, and one thing that you're going to notice in this episode that is different is we have draft partners on for this episode. I said, you know what, our final race at Michigan, it's a super speedway, it's considered in this game, so I decided, you know what, let's spice it up a little bit. Let's enable draft partners. Let's get this racing to be a little bit more crazy now, as we're already making contact there with our teammate of Alex Bowman. Got to be very careful. Of course, we're trying to help Bowman get into the playoffs, and if he doesn't find a way to get into victory lane by Daytona, I guarantee you guys we're going to be just full on Talladega mode from earlier this season and trying to push that 48 to victory lane now. As you see, 4 wide in front of us here at the end of lap 1. Chase Briscoe a little bit off the pace, one of those bubble drivers. So like I was saying though, Bowman, we got to try and get him to victory lane at Daytona if he doesn't get there sooner here within the next 3 races. That is, he is running out of time very, very quick. There you see one of his competitors of Kyle Busch there on the far outside now. So just 1 point separating those 2 drivers as we make it 3 wide with Christian Eckes as well as Kyle Busch. We cannot be doing Kyle Busch any favors throughout the rest of this regular season. It's crazy to think the 4-time Cup Series champion and last season's champion from our NASCAR Heat 5 career mode is now below the cut line to make it in the playoffs only by 1 point, but it's still crazy to think that is happening, and that is simply because Joe Gibbs Racing, as it has been no secret, they've been off the season in the career mode as a whole. It is not a Kyle Busch issue, it is just a straight up Joe Gibbs Racing issue. Still time, of course, they could be saving something for the playoffs, and if Kyle Busch makes it, they could go on an absolute tear. So you never know what's going to happen now, as you can see the draft partner situation coming into effect there, as he had the 83 of Christian Eckes on my back bumper through the center of 1 and 2, trying to give myself a push. But we had a really good first opening start of this race, up into 7th place behind the number 38 of Todd Gilliland, up the inside now of the AlphaTauri driver of Brandon Jones. We can't really be doing favors for Todd Gilliland either. He is 45 points below the cut line coming into this episode, but he's been continuously closing that gap, because ever since those regulation changes around the midway point of the season, they have really stepped up their game. So that's something we gotta remember and hope that, of course, he can't beat Alex Bowman into the playoffs. But if they keep running like they have been, I would not count that team out whatsoever. Now, as you see the 83 of Eckes slip up my inside, I knew I didn't have anything for him. He was continuing to push me as a draft partner, but I could tell he was a lot faster than me in the early part of this race, so I let him go. And then he also got past the 38 of Todd Gilliland, and then now I myself would look to the inside of Todd Gilliland here, now closing in on the midway point of stage 1. Chase Elliott out in front. Elliott's been on a bit of a tear lately as well, just like the 23 of Bubba Wallace has been, and that number 38 of Todd Gilliland. But now we got past one of the McLaren drivers of Sam Mayer, and we were in this little scrap here with Red Bull, as well as Joe Gibbs Racing's Harrison Burton, who's the only Joe Gibbs driver this season that's been able to find any sort of speed and find victory lane in general now. So we know we will at least be battling one JGR driver in the playoffs as we get a nice push there from the 66 of Sam Mayer down into turns 1. Up in front, it's Eric Jones now trying to put some pressure on his teammate of Chase Elliott. Jones still looking for that first win on the season, surprisingly now, as we've seen him win races when their car was much slower than it is this season, but they just haven't been able to find it in the times that they really need to at the end of these races to get to victory lane. But stage 1 comes to a short end right there as a caution came out somewhere behind us. Couldn't find a replay for what happened, but nonetheless we get P4 here in the first and opening stage. Pretty happy with that result considering we started down in 15th place. So I decided to add a tiny little bit of grill tape to the car. I felt like that was really the only thing we needed because overall the handling felt great. The speed felt very strong as well. It's not very often where we both got speed and a good handling car, but we definitely have that today. So I see ourselves competing for a win for sure as we gain one spot on the pit lane and jump up into 3rd place behind the McLaren duo of Chase Elliott and Eric Jones. Now as stage 2 is underway here, and as stage 2 starts in Michigan, it is time to get amped. You saw it all right there. Now up into 2nd place here, runner up to that number 9 Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet of Elliott. Right now we have some help from behind from the 83 of Christian Eckes, who was giving us a lot of help early in stage 1 before I eventually just kind of got out of his way, let him go by because we knew he was faster. But now I'm trying to use him to my advantage, but it wouldn't last long because on lap 4 I'm going on the inside through turn 3, but Elliott, Eckes, the 7 of Jones, and I believe even Harrison Burton back there, they all decided they were just going to stay on the outside, and they just destroyed me down this front straightaway. You see Eckes go right on by. I tried to fight back up the inside through turns 1 and 2. Wasn't anything for them, and he would get clear, and so would the 7 of Eric Jones, who just blew my doors off. So now here comes Harrison Burton on the exit of turns 4 on lap 6. He goes around the outside as well. So that was a little bit concerning now as they were going 3 wide in front of us here in the closing laps of this 2nd stage. Elliott still, though, finding a way to control the pace of this race now as they're 3 wide for 2nd. Harrison Burton on the inside, Eckes in the middle, Jones on the far top there, and that McLaren who's going all the way up the track now as I'm committed to running the bottom. As you can see, they can really get a good chunk of momentum using the outside, the AI can, but if I try to run their outside line that they do, I just lose an unbelievable amount of time. So coming through now to the final lap of stage 2, and same situation, we're still P5, but battling it out on the inside here of both Eric Eric Jones and Christian Eckes there as Burton tries to put some pressure on the back of the 9 of Chase Elliott. The momentum for the drivers on the outside out of turns 2, but now as we go down towards turn 3, they're both going to jump up to the top again, and now Harrison Burton is as well, and here we come through up the inside, and all of a sudden we have a chance to maybe even get second out of this as we come through out of turns 4. We're easily going to get P3, but it's going to be a drag race to the line here with Harrison Burton. Elliott wins stage 2. Burton gets us by half a car length, and we have to settle for P3 here in the second stage, but we clearly have a car competitive enough to at least be second. I don't know if I have anything for Chase Elliott because he has an unbelievably fast car here today. He's been able to control the field every single lap so far, but of course we are going to come back into the pit lane here, take 2 cans of fuel, 4 fresh tires, 0 adjustments. I was so happy with this car so far, but I really didn't know how we were going to find the extra speed to get back past Chase Elliott, but I think the only thing we can really do is hope that we get linked up with a draft partner that helps push us past that Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet here in this third and final stage, which we're going to get ready for, where we gained 1 spot, by the way, on the pit lane, overtaking Harrison Burton. Jones overtook the number 83 of Eckes, so we line up on the front row here on the outside. Chase Elliott has been in control all episode long so far now as we are back underway for the start of this third and final stage, which just gives us 18 laps remaining here. We get a very, very good launch against that 9 car down into turns 1. We got about half a car length on him into the corner, but is it going to be enough here? You see myself kind of widen that entrance there to get a better apex for myself, and now we remain side by side with that number 9 car, but he has the advantage out of the corner. I'm going to get very hard here on the side drifting, pushing Elliott all the way to the inside line. We fight back even 3 wide behind us with some 2 Toyotas, a Chevrolet Camaro of Jones down into turns 3 though. Now some contact with the 9 of Chase Elliott. We slide up the track from said contact now, and that's going to allow Elliott to get clear, and now we're going to have Eric Jones to rely on to push us hopefully as we're 3 wide down the front straightaway. Chastain on the inside, Eckes in the middle, Burton now looking to the inside of Chase Elliott down the front straightaway at the end of this first lap of this third and final stages. We're still 3 wide into the corner, nearly some contact. We did not hit the 83. That was just me sliding up the track through the center of the corner. Now as we exit turns 2, we got the number 66 of Sam Mayer trying to look to our inside as well. Kyle Busch 3 wide in the middle behind us, as well as he's kind of slipped into the top 10 out of nowhere. Now haven't been paying a whole lot of attention to Kyle Busch in today's episode. Another guy that's kind of come out of nowhere is Lewis Hamilton, who I just got the back of in turn 3 as I got a way better or faster entrance than I anticipated. So here comes Lewis Hamilton out of nowhere. He is comfortably inside the playoffs right now, unless we have an unbelievable amount of new winners here in the next 4 races. If we have 4 new winners, maybe that would be the only possible outcome of him potentially getting eliminated from the playoffs. But he gives me a big push out of turns 4, made me go 3 wide with the number 99 of Ross Chastain and the 9 of Chase Elliott, who's finally appeared to be dethroned here in this third and final stage as Harrison Burton is now on that top step. So here I am in second place. Eric Jones would get past the number 44 of Lewis Hamilton after a side-by-side battle, and now I was relying on him to push us, but not too much because he nearly turns us on the exit of turns 4. A good save by myself, and thank goodness he finally backed out of it because that could have went very wrong very quick, but he gave us enough of a push down into turns 1, lap 38. That would allow me to look up the inside of Burton, and then a big hit again through the center of the corner, but I have to back out of the throttle to not get pushed into the side of the 19 car. So now as we go down this back straightaway, another push, and I look to the inside again of Harrison, but a way better run this time into turns 3, and sure enough, here we are taking over the lead now, but we slide up the track a little bit, and that's going to open the door for that Dex Imaging Toyota Camry for Joe Gibbs Racing to slip back up the inside, as it's going to be a drag race to the line, but it's going to be the 19 getting us there just like he did in stage 2. Now as we have 12 laps to go, a push again from that Aero Chevrolet behind us there of Eric Jones. Elliott back up into the mix. We know that 9 car is strong. He lost the lead, but he has fought his way back forwards here to be in the mix. Now as Elliott's going to go by just about on the inside, as I didn't have a whole lot from here. Now as we came through to lap 40, 11 laps to go. Elliott looking now to the inside of the 19 of Burton. I'm going to go 3 wide in the middle with help from Eric Jones for the lead into turns 1. Not going to work. You know, it was a little bit ambitious of myself to try and make that move in. Obviously, it wasn't really worth it because it just allowed the 9 car to get like a 2 car lead over Harrison Burton now and myself as we would battle again side by side. Eric Jones, I was surprised by how much he was helping me right here, but it was great. I wasn't complaining because he just pushed us back up into second place. Now on lap 41, 10 laps to go in this race, closing in, by the way, on green flag pit stops, but I spoke too soon because the caution comes out, and no green flag pit stops are necessary now. So what we are going to do is bring it into the pit lane for 1 can of fuel and 2 right side tires. Chase Elliott, myself, 1-2, as it looks like Brad Keselowski there for Stuart Haas racing in that 41 car brings out the caution. But what happened under the pit stop? Elliott loses 4 positions. I lose 1 spot. Jones gains ground. Harrison Burton gains ground. He's now leading. Jones second. Myself third. Elliott down to 5th place. Eckes on my outside here with just 6 laps to go. We get a very nice launch right here, by the way, on the back of the 19. We're going to make it 3 wide into turns 1. We've made this move before at the same track on a late race restart. Kyle Busch in my rear view mirror coming out of nowhere, by the way, well up inside the top 10. Might even be on track for a top 5 finish. If he pulls off that top 5, that's going to be huge for the playoff grid, as we're still side by side right here, by the way, with the 19 of Harrison Burton. Now a bit of a push nearly from the 9 of Elliott. He backs out of it and leaves the door wide open for Kyle Busch, but right through turns 3 and 4, we get clear right there on the 19 of Harrison Burton, and here comes the 18 of Kyle Busch to the inside. He's up into 3rd place, potentially even 2nd place. Elliott trying to go 3 wide in the middle. We have to block both lines right there with 5 laps to go. Now, how long can I hold both of these lines off? We know we don't have the fastest car today. We know we got a top 5 car, but Elliott definitely stronger, and apparently Kyle Busch right now has one of the strongest cars, but I get sideways right there out of turn 2. I have to cover up the 19 and the 18, the 2 Joe Gibbs Racing teammates. This is the first time all season Kyle Busch has really shown up. But it wasn't enough, because Chase Elliott would get to 2nd place and catch me completely off guard out of turns 2. He was able to get up my inside. I was completely taken aback from how much speed he had in that 9 car, and he clears us no matter how hard I side drafted him. But I'm not giving up just yet. Coming to 3 laps to go, we fight back up the inside of that Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet. A big push coming from behind from the 19 of Harrison Burton. What a scrap it has been all race in this top 5 now, as we're going to still be side by side. But now enough of a push right there. Accidentally, when I cut down to the apron, it actually got rid of my draft partner, but it does not affect us. We get back to the lead with the final 3 laps underway, but I get way too hot into turns 1, sliding up again, even worse than I did last time around, sideways on the exit of the corner. That allows the 9 to get back clear. Here comes the 19 of Harrison Burton, 4th place Kyle Busch now. He's up in the mix. If things go right for him, he could potentially steal a win and lock himself into the playoffs now in what has been a miserable season for him. Now to 2 laps to go, approaching the final lap. Up the inside of Harrison Burton, kind of caught him off guard. Elliott to the top. I hit the apron there, slide up the track there, nearly into the side of the 19, sideways again. Here goes Kyle Busch to the inside, and now he is going to move up into 3rd. It's going to be 3 wide just about for the lead, but Elliott stays clear. White flag in the air here now as Eric Jones up our inside. I wanted to be on the inside 3 wide into turns 1. Wasn't able to do that, unfortunately, with that 7 being there, but Elliott goes all the way to the top. Kyle Busch clear of Harrison Burton, side by side for the lead. Kyle Busch potential playoff spot on the line right here with half a lap to go. Does he have enough now, as we're still side by side with the 7 of Eric Jones? We're going to try and make it 3 wide in the middle between Jones and Burton. Now is Elliott, though, defensive enough on the inside through turn 3, and for Jones gets through on the inside, and Chase Elliott holds off a late charge in Kyle Busch in what was probably one of the best Michigan races of the career mode. Elliott wins in Michigan and gets his 3rd win on the season, as we barely got Harrison Burton at the line for a 4th place finish. Kyle Busch runner up. Have they finally found the speed in that 18 car that they need? We're not going to know until, of course, the next few races here, as we have Canada coming up. We have as well the Daytona International Speedway for the regular season finale, and we got New Hampshire in the middle of those 2 races as well. So definitely Kyle Busch gained a lot of points in this episode. That's going to be crucial here as we're about to check out the playoff grid. But the next 3 races, like I said, for the Cup Series regular season, all completely different tracks. The road course in Canada, my home track, by the way, where we won at last season after actually shoving the 9 car of Chase Elliott out of the way on the final lap, I believe it was. Then we have the Magic Mile of New Hampshire, and then we have the Super Speedway plate track of Daytona. So 2 races left in the regular season for the NASCAR Legend Series. Very close for us if we're going to make the playoffs or not. We're the final spot in currently. Truck Series gets the playoffs underway in their next race. Xfinity still has a good chunk of races here. 5 races left in their regular season, and in the next episode they'll be going to Watkins Glen, as there's only 2 spots open on points for Allgaier and Seed. Currently Natalie Decker outside of the playoffs by 7 points. She's been having a really good season, but here's the Cup Series grid. Kyle Busch with a really good episode or good race here in Michigan now finds himself 28 points above Alex Bowman. So a big day right there for Kyle Busch. And now, so Bowman 28 out, Briscoe out by 34, Gilliland lost 4 points, he's out by 49, and 80 points and above out for Priest and Smith, who's actually Smith out by over 100. But as always, if you guys enjoyed this episode, you know what to do. I'd like to thank you all for taking the time of your day for watching this episode, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Of course, thank you to the Going Racing members of MJ, Joseph 9001, Timothy Arline, Bubba Jr., Brett Durward, Dark Gengari Gaming, AJ Vasur, Russell Dixon, Kenneth Barnett, Danny9302, Speed Demon 341, as well as Illinois Diecast. I really appreciate you guys' support so much, and I will see you guys in the next one for the final 3 regular season races on the season. Have a great day, everybody.